Hey, good morning everyone, and welcome to the PivotBoss pre-market video. This is for Monday, June 25th, 2018. I am Frank Ochoa, aka PivotBoss. Thank you for joining me today. Here's a look at the daily time frame of the ES right here, and one thing that's very significant, just to point out really quickly, is how in this uptrending market here we had quite a rejection day here, we had an absorption day here. This failed new high is what caused this recent drop here. That failed new high right there was the shot for bulls to really take the ball and run with it above 27.80. They failed, which led to price closing below the rejection day midpoint. When that happens, odds favor that price will take out the recent low. And we haven't quite gotten to that low, but we did push down very close to it. We're now retesting the 2741 level. That's the previous month's high. Remember, 2731 is also the FOMC key level from March 21st. So this is a very important area of support. That's why when we broke through it before, we were looking for bulls to defend it. We're now there again. So again, this is a zone that bulls need to keep bid. Otherwise, a failure to hold that zone opens up the next pivot low here and the next FOMC key level between 2669 and 2680. So that's the idea right now. If bulls can keep this area bid, we could have a shot at retesting 2780 and perhaps as high as 2800. Looking at the NQ, you'll notice the NQ right here. What we talked about last week was this high, and if price fails to hold 73.20, that could open up a swing move to the opposite edge to take out this low. We have now gotten that move. So a very nice 2.5, 3-day move there to the opposite edge. And again, we could continue to see a little bit of a pullback before we perhaps snap back in the opposite direction. You can notice that this has been a very bullish, sloped, stacked and sloped type of trending environment since the breakout. Every pullback has been bought. This one's been bought but failed. So we're still in the zone. As long as we continue to hold basically above 70.47 or 7K overall, this thing still remains in a bullish uptrending structure. So at some point here we might see some bulls come in and defend, and that could snap this thing back in the opposite direction. So keep an eye on that. As a matter of fact, if you look at RTY, which is the Russell 2000 E-mini, this one has been leading the way to the upside ever since we got a great breakout here. We've gotten a very strong drive. The first pullback defended, the second pullback defended, the third one defended, but we're pulling back yet again. And so right here you can see stacked and sloped. Every time we get below the 8-period average has been a great time to buy. Overall, this could be an opportunity to watch for, say, 1671, 1670 here. If that zone is tested, that could be a great zone here to buy ahead of 1721. So that could be another pullback buy opportunity. Failure to hold the LVN. This is the ultimate area of support right here, 1658. That LVN, very significant. If there's a failure there, then we could rotate below, but we could pull back as deep as there and still be a great buying opportunity. So 1660, 1558, that zone. So keep an eye on that one. We also talked about crude oil. Remember crude oil, we talked about the opportunity for a significant breakout soon. And in this case, we had a very clear key range that had formed in the intraday. That led us to believe that we had a significant breakout potential. We finally got the move above 66.29, and the breakout was significant. The rally was explosive and just continued onward, and just when you thought it was over, it continued some more. So very big move here. If you look at the size of the day and quantify it against the others for the year, here it is. This is year to date basically. That was the biggest range of the year by far. The other biggest day was here, and it surpassed that by far. The other one, another candidate's this day here. So that was significant. And again, we knew it based off of how price was coiling within that impulse move, building that key range. We caught it in the trading room. Great move there. Now we have a potential digestion day that's developing now, which means fade the edges with an upward bias. 67.10 is the important pivot here. Holding that pivot can get you into as high as 70.41 on the next burst over the next several days. So we'll see how this continues to play out here. If you take a look at 6E, we looked at 6E last week. I mentioned that if bulls can keep 116 bid here, then we could look at a short-term bounce into 119 to 120. And so we saw the move come right into 116, and since then it's been a nice 3-day bounce higher. That's been great, and we will likely see a continuation toward those targets we mentioned before. And if you look at 6B, which is the British pound futures, you'll notice a similar behavior and is ready to likely bounce as well. This type of behavior is usually quite bullish. You can see here a rejection of the previous month's low. Price pulls back, and now we're getting a failed new low during the current session below the previous month's close. That could lead price right to the opposite edge here. We're talking 1.346 to 1.347. So basically we could be looking at a nice buy opportunity anytime today. Over the next week could take us into about 1.345 to 1.35. Alright, that is it for now. Let's see how this plays out heading into the new session in the new week. Good luck, trade well, and I'll see you soon. Take care.